Good afternoon and welcome to From the Wings. I'm Stephanie Freed and I am so glad that you're here with us today. Before we begin today's episode, I would like to take a moment to recognize Webster Bank, our official presenter of our From the Wings series. We're so grateful to Webster Bank for their loyal and generous support today and always. Thank you so much, Webster Bank. So it's been 4 weeks since our last episode, and it is an understatement to say that a lot has happened since we were last together. I know many of you, like me, have young children at home, and we had to reimagine Halloween this year, and I was so impressed with the many different ways folks celebrated and acknowledged the holiday. The ingenuity and creativity was just out of this world. We at the Bushnell wanted to add a little fun to the holiday as well. So two of our fantastic team members, Taylor and Matt, along with our amazing videographer, Ryan, prepared a virtual behind the scenes and somewhat unauthorized tour of our building, and I'd love to share it with you. Let's watch.
Happy Halloween! Welcome to the Bushnell. Now, normally you can go on a tour of the Bushnell, but for today, we thought we'd go on an unauthorized tour. Now, my name is Taylor. I work in marketing here, and with me, I have my trusty sidekick, Matt, who is going to help me go. Matt, this is Matt.
Hi.
Matt, where do you work?
I work here in IT.
Yes, and Matt has graciously agreed to come along.
I did not agree to do
because
this.
he has all the keys.
There are ghosts here.
There are
I've seen
ghosts
over
here.
2 scary movies.
No.
I know how this is.
Now, the Bushnell is 90 years old, so I can see why you might think there's ghosts. But funny you should mention, we have a ghost light in front of us. Ghost lights are to help workers not fall off the end of the stage if the stage is dark, but also to ward off ghosts.
All right, you see what I'm talking about? It's happening.
It's a 90-year-old building. The wires are probably a little glitchy. Some facts about this building. We are currently in Mortensen Hall. Now, this hall is 90 years old, and it is beautiful.
This place is old, it's scary, and we probably won't make it out alive.
Anyhow, we're going to try to uncover all the secrets and hidden... The pit is moving. Did you do this?
I did not do this. This is a ghost swallowing us whole.
So at this level, we have seating here sometimes. Now when it's at the stage level, it's called the apron. And when we're down below, it's the orchestra pit, and the orchestra will play on this during performances. Isn't that so cool?
No, it's not cool.
Oh, look, there's a door. Where do you think that goes?
I don't like this.
Matt,
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
This is underneath Mortensen's stage. Oh, this is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these. These are the hydraulics that run the orchestra pit. That's so cool. Now, this is Mortensen Theater's dressing rooms. There are 5 levels of it, and it's not super glamorous, but it's original to the building, 90 years. Let's see what else we can find.
Taylor, wait, Taylor.
Matt, come on.
Taylor, wait.
We're missing out.
Taylor, wait.
Ceiling spots. Are we? We're above Mortensen Hall, Matt. This is above the mural. This mural is called Drama, and it is the largest suspended mural in the country. Can you believe that?
Let's start.
And the show, very little known, Phantom of the Opera, had to drill a hole in our mural in order to suspend the chandelier. What? We are inside the 5,600 pipe Austin organ. This is original to Mortensen Hall, and the smaller pipes emit a higher sound, and the bigger pipes emit a lower sound. Half of the pipes are on stage right, where we are, and the other half are on stage left. I knew it, Matt. There are these tunnels underneath the building that they use for maintenance, and we found one. Oh, you don't want to be left alone up there, do you?
You know, Taylor, another story I heard was that one of the stagehands actually saw somebody sitting in a seat in the theater when nobody was sitting.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, Building Theater, Matt. Look, that was my plan all along. Fun fact, while we're here, is that the Belding Theater stage is actually smaller than Mortensen, but seating-wise, they have about 900 seats, and Mortensen has about 2,800 seats, so big difference. State-of-the-art, it opened in 2001, and this is the lighting booth. Very cool. Phantom rigging. We love Phantom of the Opera. Henry Lloyd Webber.
Hey, that's Phantom. That's where Monster Mash came from. The song.
It's not. Now, careful of the ropes, Matt. This is stage right rigging of the Building Theater. This is how they pick up lights and set pieces and curtains.
I think their practice took a war here too.
And this is Mortensen's spot room. This is where they put little pieces of artwork up, where they talk about their show and when they did it. There's Ragtime and Beauty and the Beast and Phantom of the Opera.
This is pretty cool. Wait, Taylor? Taylor.
Matt. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
My oxygen levels it well.
It was too easy. Look, help me finish the tour, and then we can go, and then we're done.
Promise.
I promise. Promise? Okay. And we're back on Mortensen's stage. Thank you for joining us for our unauthorized tour. And we saw some really cool things today. Matt, what was your favorite part?
This is something different.
Matt, what was your favorite part?
This was down. Now it's up.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's been this way the whole
The
time.
ghost
Matt?
light. The ghost light's over there.
No, it's always been stage
It was
right.
in the middle before.
No,
it
this,
was-
this is called the center stage. And
That's-
no, it was over there.
That's not accurate.
Matt,
We
what's
don't know
going
what
on?
it's talking.
Matt, get a hold of yourself, man. What's going on?
Oh my goodness, those two, they are hilarious. One of the things that I really love about that video is getting to see all of those spaces that we as staff rarely and our patrons effectively never see. You know, I also think it's really fun to focus on things that might get overlooked, but are actually in plain sight, like those family portraits whose eyes may or may not have been following Matt and Taylor. Those were in the grand foyer. Also in the grand foyer, also hidden in plain sight, is the seal. And the grand foyer is one of our most iconic spaces in the building. And it's actually officially the Marie Jean and David L. Coffin Grand Foyer. We call it the grand foyer. And the seal of Hartford, you can see there on the floor, and it has the Latin post nubila Phoebus, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that translates in English to after the clouds, the sun. And this seal is original to our building, and it's the statement after the clouds, the sun. It's such a hopeful statement. And I share this with you because this phrase has inspired us as we deal with our present and look with optimism toward our future. You know, things right now are challenging, but we know that these clouds, they're going to part, and the sun is going to shine again. And that is what we are here to talk about today. Today, my guest is one of my favorite people at the Bushnell, Elizabeth Casasnovas. She is our Chief Development Officer, and she leads our development effort, works with her team to raise much needed funds to keep our beautiful building, magical stage presentations, and our educational partnerships all going. So welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I only wish it could be in person. I have not seen you in person since March 13th. And man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Same here.
So tell me a little bit, Elizabeth, just briefly about your time at the Bushnell. How long have you been there? Where'd you come from?
Believe it or not, and I guess you would believe this, I have been there for 16 years. hired by Ronna Reynolds, who many of you may remember, and have worked for David Fay that entire time. Before that, I was at Riverfront Recapture, where I worked for Joe Marfuji, and we developed our first capital campaign for the community boathouse, the downtown theater, and the river walks. And then before that, I worked at UConn Health Center. So I've only had 3 employers during my career, but I've had a great one.
So a word we would use to describe you is loyal,
Yes.
loyal and long-term.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's great. And you hired me to work at the
Yes.
Bushnell, brought me up from the University of South Florida in Tampa, and best move I ever made. So tell me though, as I'm no longer on the development team, tell me a little bit about our development team.
We've got a wonderful development team. We're very fortunate. We have had to furlough some of our coworkers, but we do have a lovely team, and we have a wonderful support team, and we also have a group of wonderful fundraisers too. Starting with Patrick Langevin, who some of you may know. Patrick came to us 4 years ago. He's our individual giving officer, and Patrick came to us by way of New York City. He's actually from Farmington originally, went to New York City, and we were lucky to pick him up at the Bushnell. He's new to development, but you'd never know it. Laura Metello, who Laura came to us right before the pandemic. She was hired, God bless.
Right.
And she started December 30th as the Director of Annual Fund and Development Operations. And she came to us by way of Bay Path College and Smith College. Ellen Nadala. Ellen is really now our historian. She is the Senior Major and Planned Giving Officer, and she's been with us for 30 years. So she's got a lot of wonderful history. And then I have Marta Ostapuk, who is Director of Corporate and Foundation Relations. And Marta has been with us for 9 years, and she came to us from Hartford Stage. So we have a wonderful team. We miss you. We have a wonderful team, but we miss you.
Yeah, I miss you guys too. And I feel fortunate that, we all still get to work so closely together, especially now when, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here when I say that development and the work you do with our donors is really what's keeping us going in this time. So I'm grateful to still be a part of that. So moments ago, I shared with our viewers that beautiful seal in the grand foyer and the words "after the clouds, the sun." And I know that this phrase has been particularly inspiring for you and David and the development team as we've kind of faced head on the challenges that are currently present for us. Can you tell me a little bit about that, a little bit about how the phrase, the seal, the work has inspired you?
Absolutely. As you said, we were sent home in mid-March. Our focus at that time was really for development to complete the fiscal year by June 30th, which is as much funding as we could get, which we did well, knowing that we were going to have to do a special campaign this current season. Shows were postponed. 50% of our revenue is derived from ticket income and other ancillary income. The remaining 50% is from contributed income. Our staff was 90% of our staff was furloughed. So we knew we really had to focus on a special campaign, and the "after the clouds, the sun" motto really tied in nicely. And it's a nice connection to the city of Hartford. It's etched in our building, and it's just very forward looking for us, something very positive. So we really wanted to approach our donors, our individual donors, and ask them to consider if they would consider increasing their gift by 20%. And knowing that not all of them could. So we word it and we phrase it when we talk to our donors. If you are in a position that you can give more, that would be wonderful. If you're not, that's okay too. If you can't renew, if you've got to reduce your gift, that is okay. We are riding this wave together, and we want to maintain those relationships no matter their giving, even if it's zero. We don't want them to feel bad if they have to pull back. And likewise with our corporate donors, we really have focused away from ticket and food and beverage accounts to really focusing on our mission. And so we developed a intermission partnership, and we are focusing them on the philanthropic side of giving. And I'm very pleased that many of them who have been able to have really pivoted to be able to continue their support for us.
Yeah, you know, we've been really pleased to be able to share at the end of each of these episodes those intermission sponsors.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's incredible, the support, the way our corporate community, our individual donors have stood beside us. And I remember when I first moved to Connecticut in 2008, the whole world fell apart shortly after I got here.
Right.
And going through that time with you leading our development efforts, and you had that same message then, which is, you know, we are going to weather the storm alongside you, and whether today you can make a gift or not, we are going to do this together. And that those relationships, I think, during that time deepened, both with those who were able to continue giving and those who just maintained their connection with us.
Right.
I feel so fortunate to work for an organization where those relationships are so deep, for sure.
I agree.
You know, I know it's easy for folks to understand why we need to raise money. I mean, you just laid it out. 50% of our income is just poof gone because we can't sell shows. We have no concessions. We have, you know, no ticket revenues at all. But can you share with us, with our watchers, our viewers, any more sort of specific information about what the current situation really is?
We're really focused on, we certainly still have a need, even with 90% of our staff furloughed, even with not having any shows. There is absolutely a need. We need to sustain our operations. We need to maintain our historic building. We need to devise any new programming to support Rick Waldman, if there's anything new out there, and raise those funds to help him, anything in the virtual world. And we also need to continue enhancing our digital learning, our education program, which is very much alive during this time.
Actually, I'd love to know more about that. I know, you know, we're in this difficult situation, but we have continued to do many things in terms of engaging with and enriching our community, specifically in the area of education. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening there?
Sure. The most important thing to know about our education program is that it uses art strategies to teach core curriculum. I mean, art for art's sake is great, but this particular program really works on connecting curriculum with art strategies to teach those students who have struggled learning the traditional methods and a new way of learning. So we, over the past 3 years, we have been focused on a digital pilot program. And when the pandemic suddenly forced schools to go into remote learning, we were able to quickly pivot so that we could provide content for the teachers. And this program is led by Yolande Spears, and I know she's coming on a future program, and she will give you wonderful information. And Yolande started this program 25 plus years ago, and her group works with Hartford Public Schools, East Hartford Public Schools, Meriden Public Schools, and CREC charter schools as well. She has taken what we call our partners programs. We have certain units: storytelling, cartooning, puppetry, and poetry. And she has digitized those programs so she can push them out to the classroom and help those teachers with the content. The content that they normally get in the classroom is now being pushed out through laptops and whatnot, so students can learn remotely.
Right.
We are also working with 5,000 students in Meriden using MusicQuest, MusicQuest was developed by a Denver-based company called Edify Technologies.
Okay.
And again, think of using art strategies to teach core curriculum. MusicQuest teaches young students musical composition. So this is done through a very intuitive app, and you can use it on your tablet. The students can use it on a laptop, and allows the students to engage with literacy, math, and the science curriculum with a lens of creativity and self-expression. So it's really a wonderful program, and we are constantly out fundraising for it. And it's really fits into our mission, where you kind of see many of the companies pivoting over to help us with that particular funding.
Yeah, I mean, now more than ever, right? I mean, this has always been interesting. It's always been something that we've been working toward, but now more than ever, needing to help lift up schools, lift up students.
Right.
Just a quick aside, I remember when I was applying for this job and looking at the Bushnell's website, my oldest child was just about to go into kindergarten. And I was getting the curriculum for what they would be doing at their elementary school. And again, I was in Tampa, Florida, as you know, but our viewers may not.
Right.
And I saw that there was no dedicated arts education. And I don't just mean like, art for art's sake, but the utilization of art strategies. I didn't see any of that. And I mean, even so much as I saw PE wasn't, and I recognize that's not arts, but just thinking about those specials, those that fell out as well and was less frequent than, say, it was when I was a kid. And I remember looking at the Bushnell's website and specifically looking at the work that we were doing then and continue to do now, lifting up teachers and not just teaching kids about, this is the sound a violin makes, or this is how to do this dance move or this art piece or whatever, but about using those strategies to teach, like you've said, literacy, math, programming, all these different things that improve the student's ability to learn, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so impressive to me. And it was definitely part of my thought process that I wanted my children, growing up in a place where there was value placed in that. And I loved the role the Bushnell played in that. So yeah, I think, what you're talking about that Yolande and her team are doing now is so important.
And I remember you sharing that with me in the very beginning because how many years have you been here now?
13. My youngest is 13 and I came, he wasn't yet 1 when I started. So yeah.
That's a duty of the Bushnell. So many of our staff members, they're family and they've been with us for a long time.
Yeah.
So I do remember that story.
Yeah. It's impressive stuff. And I love, and Yolande and her folks trying to do this work when we can't physically be together, when it's all, virtual meetings, and it's crazy, but it's remarkable. And, to the point you were making, the fundraising that you're doing now makes sure that's possible. I mean, that impact is significant. So the name of the campaign, After the Clouds, the Sun, so hopeful, so forward-looking. How do you see the campaign fitting into our vision for the future? So not just about today, but about a month from now, 6 months from now, 18 months from now. How do you see that all working together?
Well, first and foremost, support from our donors at any time is critical. And we felt that this was a campaign that could carry us out to really when we return. And we don't know when that date is, but we hope it's not too far away.
Right.
But we figured it could go over, seasons if we needed to. Not Broadway seasons, I don't mean, but just winter, summer, fall. And it could just carry that message throughout. We feel that we will obviously get through these very challenging times, and funding will just continue to allow us to do our work. The support will continue to help us work towards our reopening, which is really what we're focused on, certainly. And we have a team internally that is all that they're focused on for as far as one project is, what are the requirements for us to open to keep us all safe? And our CEO, David Fay, who I'm sure many of you know, he has us focused certainly on the here and now, but also on the opening and how will we look when we reopen? What are we going to look like after the pandemic? How are we reimagining ourselves? What new partnerships will we develop? What kind of new programs will we offer? what can we share with our donors and our subscribers, and when we move forward, and what we're going to look like, and what role can they play? I mean, I'm kind of more the tactical, and the more the here and now. Okay, what do we need to do? What goals do we need? How do we keep everyone employed and get our mission moving forward? And David is very much in, okay, what are we doing for our 100th anniversary? Because this year we're still celebrating our 90th. And I'm like, okay, yep, I'm there with you, but we got to raise this money first. So but he is a good CEO in that way, because he is big on vision.
Big on vision, yep.
Very big on vision. And what will we look like in 10 years? And Stephanie knows this, that's why she's chuckling, because we deal with this on a daily basis, which is a good thing. You need a balance of both, the core and where we're going, and then what's the future look like.
Yeah, and we're so fortunate, right? We have a visionary CEO. We have a crazy visionary and strategic board of trustees and board of ambassadors. I mean, we're lucky. We lack not for vision and strategy. Yes,
and David will always come up with ideas, and I have been at fault a number of times, like, oh, that's just not going to work. To myself, that's not going to work. And then, sure enough, it works. I mean, we've had our share of flops too, but my goodness, he'll come up with something, and it can take off. So good for him. Good for us.
Right. It is, and it's exciting. There's never a dull moment. That is for sure. So for our viewers today, when we think about the campaign, what can they expect to see, and what do you hope they consider doing to support the campaign?
As far as the campaign, and we're working very closely, thank you very much, with marketing, Stephanie. And so a video is being developed that will focus on our campaign, After the Clouds, the Sun. You'll also see us on social media. You'll see our website being updated. All of our publications will certainly refer to our campaign. Any mailings that we're doing, any calls, we'll certainly talk to our campaign about our campaign. And my feeling always is, if you can make a gift, give what makes you feel good. And that really means any amount where you can make a donation. Marketing has provided us this wonderful offer where all donations received via Bushnell.org between now and the Sunday, you'll receive a beautiful, I don't even have my own, new Bushnell face mask. Look at that. That Stephanie can model. And
it's fabulous, right?
Look at that. That is very protective. And we need to protect our donors, and we need to protect our patrons.
And it is a three-ply cotton face mask.
Look at that. Could be yours.
With the Bushnell, there's the camera, with the Bushnell logo.
Yes, there we go. But anything you could do would certainly be helpful. And any ideas you have, if you have ideas of things we should be doing, or other ideas from other nonprofits, I mean, we're open to anything and everything. So we'd love to hear any feedback that you have, for sure.
And I know there are probably people out there who are wondering, but ovations, are we going to do ovations this year? And what's that going to look like?
Oh boy, yes, we are going to be doing ovations. We have decided, thank you for reminding me about that, Stephanie. We have decided to go virtual. It's March 6th, which is Saturday. The start time is 7 p.m. And it will be about 50 minutes long, not too long, but there'll be a little pre-gathering. There'll be a little post thing happening too. So we encourage you to join us. You'll see some wonderful talent throughout. And I think it will be very enjoyable. And it all supports our education program and community outreach.
I'm going to have to ask those co-chairs and Laura, who now runs the gala on your team, I'm going to have to ask them to join me for one of these, because I think that's going to be so fun to talk through.
That would be great.
Yeah, and give people an idea. It won't just be just like ovations isn't just another gala. It's not just another chicken dinner. It's a fantastic night when it's in person. I suspect that this year's virtual presentation of the gala will also be unique in that way, because that's just sort of the Bushnell way, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Totally. A lot of creative people.
There are a lot of creative people. So if someone's ready to make their gift today, I know I saw that up a moment ago, they can visit us at bushnell.org/donate now, or they can email or call Patrick Langevin on our team who can help you out. And like Elizabeth said, any gifts made between today and Sunday at midnight on bushnell.org/donate now will qualify for a free Bushnell mask that will be mailed out to you. So we hope that you choose to do that. And like Elizabeth said, every gift matters. Every gift counts, whether it's your first gift to the Bushnell, a renewal of your last year's gift, or a second, third, fourth, 10th gift this year. Every gift matters. So Elizabeth, this has been great. I can't believe our time is already up, but I really appreciate you joining us today and sharing a little bit about the campaign.
Thank you for having me.
All right, take care.
All right.
And so to thank our sponsors as well, who, like Elizabeth said, have stood beside us in this challenging time. We are especially grateful and, rely on the continued support of Webster Bank and our intermission partners. On your screen are many of our current corporate and foundation supporters. And it's thanks to their generosity and the support of our individual donors that we are able to continue our work to bring the very best in arts education and the performing arts, both virtually and when the time is right and it's safe to do so, live on our stages and in our classrooms. And of course, as we've discussed, your support through giving, subscription, the ticket purchases you've made to these virtual presentations we have been able to share with you, they sustain us and ensure that we'll be here and ready to welcome you back when the time is right. This is one more pitch to say, I hope you'll consider making a gift today, whether you're first or a renewal. And you can do that by visiting us at bushnell.org/donate now. And it wouldn't be a From the Wings if I didn't remind you to sign up for our Bushnell e-club and to follow us on all the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We do hope that we'll see you there. You can get the best, most up-to-date information through those channels, and we'd love to have you follow. So I hope you'll join us for our next episode of From the Wings on Thursday, December 3rd, when my guest will be a returning guest, Rick Waldman, Vice President of Programming, for a conversation around Broadway, what we know both about Broadway in New York and Broadway at the Bushnell. And, it's going to be a great conversation. There'll be good news to share, information to share, and we hope you'll join us for it. As we say goodbye, I'd like to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, take good care.